Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to wrap up the YZR500, get it off the bench and onto the shelf. So first we're going to start with painting some parts, so we're going to jump down in the booth. So come on along and we'll get started. So to start, I primed all my satin black pieces in Mr. Surfacer 1500 gray. I just started off with light coats and built up the color and coverage until I was good with it. This took about 2 medium coats, and I was pretty much done. Here I'm priming with Mr. 1500 Surfacer Black. I do this with my metallic pieces just to make sure I have a nice black base that's down. Kind of helps with the reflectivity. Now a gloss black base with Tamiya LP1. Now I'm painting all my semi-gloss black pieces with Tamiya LP5. Again, just like any other Tamiya LP, you got to kind of gradually build up the color and coverage until you have something that's adequate and that you like. I'm also painting the stand because there's no kickstands on a racing bike, so that's the only way to display them upright. So yeah, that's why I'm doing the racing stand now as well. Now spraying the seat pads with Tamiya LP3 flat black. Like all the other Tamiya LPs, the same rule applies. Here we're spraying the speedometer with Tamiya XF53. Here I'm spraying these parts of this part with X7, which is red from Tamiya. This part is a 2-color piece. I'm just starting with the lightest color first and then doing the darkest color last. These parts are being sprayed with Mr. Hobby's Super Metallic Super Chrome 2 instead of Tamiya X11. I also spray all my metallics through a 0.2 needle. Apparently this gives them more reflectivity. I'm now spraying the exhaust with titanium silver LP63 from Tamiya. Through a 0.2 needle so you get more reflectivity on a gloss black base, and they turn out pretty good, I think. I'm back now spraying LP5 on these parts. A couple of them had to be recoated because they just didn't cover well the first time I painted them. And the other two I had painted red before. We had seen that, so I just finished them off, and they came out really good. I was really happy with it. So now we're going to jump down to the bench and start with assembly. I hope you guys are all ready because here we go. We're now starting with the muffler decals for the exhaust. It looks like I struggled a little bit here, but honestly I didn't find it to be all that hard. It was just more of figuring out how to position my hand to hold the decal while I pulled it off the backing paper. And then from there it was just keeping it straight and rolling it around the muffler. So as you can see, I'm trying to straighten it out here and get it nice. And now after some fumbling with the decal out of frame, I've managed to get it all laid down pretty nicely. So I'm just smoothing out anything I can and trying to make sure everything is straight. I've now got another muffler decal on the double exhaust, and I'm just smoothing it out with a Q-tip and pushing out all the excess water. And after some more fumbling, we now have a finished exhaust. Okay, so now we're going to put the speedometer on the speedometer itself. The gauge face, I guess. As you can see, nice easy placement here. This was probably the easiest decal on the whole kit. And then I smooth it out with my cotton bud. Just trying to push out all the excess water. It's kind of in a recess, so I was trying to push it down into that recessed area at the same time. I think it came out pretty good, personally. Here I'm just applying some setting solution to make sure the decal sets down and sinks into that recess. Okay, so now we're going to do the 2D decals over top of these red spots, red tanks on the side of the frame. I just applied some setting solution there. And here I'm positioning the second one. So I kind of put it where I kind of close to where I need it to be, and then I'll work it into position and then push out all the liquid and apply my setting solution. I'm just soaking up some excess fluid underneath the decal here and pushing it out with a cotton bud. And now I'll apply my decal setting solution. So this was a series of 2 decals that went next to the speedometer. I think one is like a gauge of some sort. It looks like a digital screen, and the other one looks like a label almost. Yeah, so this is the first one. I'm just pushing out all the excess liquid with a cotton bud. Just trying to make everything nice. Here I am applying the second decal, which looks like a warning label of some type, or some sort of label of some sort. Just pushing the excess liquid out with a cotton bud again. Now I will apply the decal setting solution over both decals to get them to set down properly. Here we are on the front tire. There's 2 decals that go on the inside of the rim. I'm just placing this one here. They went down pretty easy for the most part. It was more of a struggle getting them off the tweezers because they were so small than anything else, I would say. Now I'm just pushing out the excess fluid with a cotton bud. Okay, so now we have one side of the tire done. I think so far it looks pretty good. I've also detail painted the valve stem that comes out of the tire. So now I have the tire flipped over and I'm doing the decal on the other side. This one went a lot easier than the first one did, and yeah, I guess it just comes with practice. Okay, now for the 2 tire transfers that go on the tire itself. I used an eyedropper this time so I wouldn't pick the decal up with my finger and ruin the tire transfer. This method worked a lot better for me. Here I am just peeling the transfer paper off, and it came out perfect. So I just soak up the excess water with a cotton bud. I make sure not to touch the lettering at all, just to get the excess water around it so it dries quicker. And now we'll do the other side. Just positioning it and pressing it into place. The tire was a little damp from the other side. The water kind of dripped onto it, but it didn't really affect it too much. I was still able to get it into position and where I wanted it. So now I'm just wetting the transfer paper and peeling away the transfer paper. Just have to take your time with the tire transfers. It's like you just got to practice, really. So now I have the bike in hand, and I'm going to, and the front fender on. I'm going to put the front tire in place. It's out of frame, but I felt like it was a pertinent piece of information to have in the build. I eventually get it in place off camera. Here I apply CA glue to the holes for the backrest for the seat pad. Yeah, this is pretty straightforward. Just put the glue on the holes and press it in place like I'm doing here. And now some CA glue for the seat pad itself. I used a generous amount here because it covered a big area and I wanted to make sure that I had good bond between everything. CA glue seems to be the only adhesive that is compatible with 2K. Tamiya extra thin does not work at all for some reason for me. I don't know why that is, but yeah. So now we're just putting these tanks on the side of the frame. They go in pretty easily. There's 2 holes that they locate into. Yeah, they just snap in, so it's a pretty easy fit. And here's a better look at the bike, because I think at this point, this side is pretty much finished. Now we attach the exhaust that runs, I believe, along the side of the bike. The exhaust that runs underneath the seat, I had to do off camera. It was just too fiddly for me to do on camera, and I struggled with it a little bit because of the installation method I used. So that's why I stress, when you're using a Tamiya motorcycle kit, be absolutely 100% sure to follow the instructions to a T. Now I'm just smoothing out the windshield decal. Here I'm fastening the side cowl to the front cowl. It's 2 screws. Hardest part I had was just locating that back one there. For some reason I missed the hole a couple of times and didn't get the screw in. I couldn't get it in and couldn't figure out why, but I got it eventually. Now we're just doing the other side. As you can see. So I'm just tightening up the screw here. You can kind of see it at the very bottom of the screen. Now I'm just attaching the decals that go on the swing arm. They went on pretty easy. There was not really a big struggle with them. The only thing I regret not doing is putting them on earlier and coating them. But I don't think that part of the model is going to be handled too much anyways, so it shouldn't be too crucial. But they all came out good. There was no silvering. There was nothing that concerned me. So here I am just moving the top one in place. You can see the bottom one behind the exhaust. So here we flip over to the other side to do the one-piece decal that goes across the swing arm on the other side. This one was easier but harder at the same time because it was kind of like using my offhand, so it was kind of, you know, a struggle, I would say. So we get this on and just add some decal setting solution. So now we're going to jump down to the photo booth and take a look. Okay, and that's the YZR500 all wrapped up. I think she came out pretty good considering. Couple small mistakes, but overall I think they're not too noticeable. So yeah, I think it came out well. So I got about a week now to decide on what I'm going to build next. I got a pretty good idea. I'll give you guys an update and a bench update before I start. So yeah, I'll see you then. Everybody have a good one. Take care.